Are you looking for a 10-day Japan itinerary that doesn't follow the usual overcrowded places? In this day-by-day travel guide, I'll share how to get to some of the country's least visited attractions, an area even more ancient than Kyoto or Nara, otherworldly landscapes, an unseen side of Mt Fuji, and much more. If avoiding over-tourism and supporting locals sounds good to you, keep watching for more. If you're new here, I'm Elise from theinvisibleTourist.com. I'll help you blend in Japan and beyond with my free itineraries, places off the beaten path, tips to avoid crowds, and more to ease over-tourism. Like and subscribe to Be Invisible too. While most tourists include Tokyo, Kyoto, and Osaka on their Japan trips, my itinerary covering underrated aspects of this beautiful nation makes for a unique and enriching trip. This video will briefly cover each destination and things to see and do. But you can always bookmark and save the free written itinerary version linked in the description box below. This itinerary utilizes local trains and Shinkansen, bullet trains, but you'll have more freedom hiring a car to reach the offbeat gems for day 5 and 7 to 10. To save moving hotels too often, this itinerary covers one optional night in Tokyo, 2 nights in Fujinomiya, 2 nights in Nagoya with a day trip to Gujo Hachiman, 1 night in Onomichi, 3 nights in Matsue with day trips to Izumo and Tottori. Check the description box below for where I stayed in each location. With that said, let's begin. Day 1. Tokyo. My guide to where to stay in Tokyo, linked below, covers hotels I've personally stayed in and recommend from more than a dozen visits to Japan's capital over the past decade. But if you've visited Japan previously and prefer to avoid Tokyo, skip ahead to Day 2. Now I know this video has Avoid Crowds in its title, but it's more than likely you'll be flying into a Tokyo International Airport such as Haneda or Narita. While it's inevitable you'll encounter crowds in Tokyo, there are ways around this. Lesser known things to do in Tokyo. Have a Tori tunnel experience near Haneda Airport at Anamora Inari Shrine, dedicated to aviation safety. Explore Old World Yanaka Ginza, which survived the World War II air raids. Shop at overlooked Grandma's Harajuku in Sugamo, or visit Shimo Kitazawa for thrift stores, boutiques, and pre-loved designer goods. The residential areas of Setagaya and Sangenjaya feature Gotokuji, the Lucky Cat Temple, and King Kong reaching over a family mart, while Carrot Tower is an alternative to Shibuya Sky. Relax at some lesser-known gardens, such as Rikiguen or Koshikawa Korakuen. Take part in a tea ceremony with a 5th-generation tea master and make a wish for career success at a Tago shrine. Visit Sensoji at night when the crowds have thinned and the buildings are illuminated. Days 2 and 3. Fujinomiya. Most tourists wishing to see Mt Fuji flock to Hakone, just 1 hour from Tokyo. In recent years, it's become insanely popular. There are lengthy queues for the cable cars, buses, even to take photos at the shrine. For a less crowded alternative, Fujinomiya is the unseen side of this sacred mountain. It was once the ancient starting point for the Fuji pilgrimage when Kyoto was Japan's capital for over 1,000 years. Spend 2 nights here, as the weather can be so different from one day to the next. The best time to see Fuji-san without her cloudy blanket is early morning before clouds roll in. Trust me, it's worth setting your alarm early. Things to do in Fujinomiya. Watch a Mt Fuji sunrise from your hotel. This was one of the highlights of all my trips to Japan. Take a food and sightseeing tour, including shrines and the Mt Fuji World Heritage Center. Stroll along the Uri River beneath beautiful cherry blossoms during spring. Visit Mt Fuji UNESCO locations on a sightseeing bus tour. See scenic lakes, waterfalls, a cave where Mt Fuji's goddess resides, and enjoy ice cream from the happiest cows. Day 4. Nagoya. This central Japanese city is often overlooked by foreign visitors, meaning it is perfect for those wishing to avoid the crowds. Things to do in Nagoya. Visit Nagoya Castle and Honmaru Palace with beautiful attention to detail. Stroll the preserved Shikemichi neighbourhood, untouched by World War II air raids. Shop and eat Nagoya meshi, local cuisine at Endoji Shotengai, lined with small businesses and cafes. Visit some of Nagoya's temples and shrines, including one relocated by Tokugawa Ieyasu in 1612. Admire Nayabashi Bridge and see Nagoya's Mirai Tower. Does it look familiar to you? Visit one of the many museums or spend a day at Legoland, Japan, a theme park without the crazy crowds. I only had to wait 5 minutes for rides. Read my full Legoland Nagoya review for all the details linked below. Day 5. Gujo Hachiman Day Trip. Known as Japan's hidden water city in the Japanese Alps, this preserved town is an overlooked alternative to Kyoto, but without the crowds. Things to do in Gujo Hachiman. Start at the Gujo Hachiman Castle, dating back to 1559 with incredible panoramic views, and visit Yanaka Lane, a nostalgic willow-lined pathway of swirling pebbles. Join a workshop to create a food replica as a souvenir, or purchase some of the ready-made designs. Shop along Shinmachi to support small businesses, and don't miss Igawa Lane, a narrow canal-side walkway filled with koi fish. Find Zen at Gionzenji Temple with an unmissable mossy garden and pond. Then walk to Honmachi Street to Chokyoji Temple, then find Sogi Spring, used since ancient times. And in summer, participate in the Gujo Odori Festival. Check if your travel dates will coincide with this much-loved event. Day 6. Onomichi. With an arty, seaside vibe, lengthy history, cliffside temples, and known for cats, Onomichi is another town that most tourists speed past on the bullet trains. Things to do in Onomichi. Start at the mountain ropeway to easily ride up the cliffside in a few moments and enjoy panoramic views of the Seto Inland Sea at Senkoji Park Observatory. Wander over to Senkoji Temple to learn the myths behind why it was built into rock. Then find Zen along the Onomichi Temple Walk, a scenic hillside path of over 20 temples. Walk down Cat Alley to find furry residents and cat-themed artworks. Then paint a lucky cat souvenir to bring home. Alternatively, join a 3-hour cycling tour along the Shimanami Kaido. I'll link a suggestion below. Days 7 and 8. Matsue. Lovely Matsue is located in the Sanan region, one of the least visited regions of Japan by foreign tourists. Comprising Shinmane and Tottori prefectures, this stunning coastal area overlooking the Sea of Japan boasts turquoise waters, rugged ocean viewpoints, Bronze Age settlements, and some of the country's most highly regarded gardens. Things to do in Matsue. I recommend splitting your 2 days in Matsue. Spend 1 full day exploring the sights in the city itself, then the other day driving to its most awarded gardens, which are about 30 minutes away. I can't recommend these gardens enough. Here are some great things to do in Matsue. Climb Matsue Castle, only one of 12 original remaining and built in 1611. It's perfect during cherry blossom season. Take a scenic boat ride around the former samurai district and try a hojicha ice cream, a roasted tea-flavoured treat. Hunt down manhole covers. Matsue has some of the coolest designs. Explore the Kiyomise area with countless overhead wires, old street lamps, handicrafts and cute cafes. Before visiting Senju-in Temple, its 200-year-old weeping cherry tree has scenic views over the city. Enjoy Yushian Garden, some of Japan's most exquisite, with a pond of peony flowers each golden week in May. Enjoy tea and cake in the cafe before leaving. Head to the Adachi Museum of Art. Its gardens have been awarded Japan's absolute best for over 20 consecutive years. Stop along Lake Shinji, a famed sunset spot of the gods. It was cloudy for me, unfortunately. Hopefully you'll have more luck. Day 9. Izumo Day Trip. Most people know Kyoto as Japan's capital for over 1,000 years, and Nara before that. But Izumo is even more ancient, credited to being the birthplace of Japan's kami, or gods in the native Shinto religion. Once a year in October, it's believed millions of kami gather at the Izumo Taisha Grand Shrine for a meeting. Would you believe this shrine once stood at 96 meters tall some 1,300 years ago? Things to do in Izumo. I recommend visiting in the following order. Visit the ancient Izumo History Museum, filled with Bronze Age artifacts and relics of the pillars Izumo Taisha once stood on in ancient times. The Japanese curry and desserts in the cafe are delicious. Visit the museum before Izumo Taisha Grand Shrine, as it will give you an understanding about the aspects of the shrine itself when you're there. Walk beside Matsue no Sando, the grand pathway to the main shrine where only kami are permitted to pass. Then admire Izumo Taisha Grand Shrine, considered the oldest in the country, dating back before 700 AD. Its enshrined deity is believed to be the creator of Japan. To be respectful, shoulders and legs must be covered. Visit Hinomiisaki Shrine to catch a traditional kagura performance during summer. See Cape Hino Lighthouse, the rugged coastline and its sunset observation deck. Finally, stop at Anasa Beach to watch the famed sunset behind a shrine located on a small rocky island. Day 10, Tottori Day Trip. No, this is not the Middle East. Dating back 100,000 years, the Tottori sand dunes are an incredible natural phenomenon and the main attraction here. But that isn't all. Things to do in Tottori. Start with a scenic boat cruise, a 40-minute adventure around the Iwami Uradome coast. Next, head to Senjen Matsushima Observatory, overlooking dramatic scenery with a secluded rocky beach. It's reminiscent of the Algarve in Portugal. Visit the Tottori Sand Museum for creative sand sculptures made by hand. Then explore the Tottori sand dunes. There's 16 kilometers of rolling sandy mounds. The highest peak is 50 meters. For the sake of the camels' welfare here, I don't recommend riding them. Stop by the visitor centre to learn about the local geology. Then take the sand dune chairlift, a brief ride from the sand dunes above the road. Make sure to souvenir shop, as Tottori has unique sand-themed products, including cakes, salt, blue ramen, squid ink items, and more. And this concludes my 10-day Japan itinerary to avoid crowds. From the unseen side of Mt Fuji to the Japanese Alps, overlooked towns and rugged coastlines, to some of Japan's most immaculate gardens. The best part about it is the promise of barely any tourist crowds. What do you think of this alternative itinerary for 10 days in Japan? Are you planning to use it? Let me know, or ask any questions in the comments below. Need more Japan travel guides and itineraries? Don't forget to take a look in the description box below for my detailed travel blog, theinvisibleTourist.com, which will help you blend in on your next trip to Japan. Until next time, thanks for watching.